The Omnic Weekly. Welcome everyone, it's Sunday, October 29th, and this is episode 158 of the Omnic Weekly. I am D, and this week I'm joined by Frozen.
Okay. Hi.
That kind of was like, sometimes my cat does that. My cat will look at me, meow, but there will be no sound coming out. I'm like, are you okay?
I just need your microphone.
In your case, it's the microphone. In the case of my cat, it's, yeah, she's old. But yeah, sometimes it's funny. She'll just look at me and go, and then I think like, oh shit, I'm going deaf. It's happened. Because I have tinnitus, you know, I'm an old metalhead, so if it's never quiet in my life. I always hear which is fine if you edit podcasts and whatnot. Okay. But anyways, a little different story. How you doing, Frozen? Apart from the microphone?
Quite cozy outside today, but had a quiet day today, so.
Me and Frozen, we get along on a lot of things. We have a lot of same personality traits, but there's one thing that we are immensely different in. Frozen was like, yeah, I need to put on a light because it's already dark outside. And I'm like, oh, I hate that. I hate the fact that it's already dark outside. And then she's like, fuck you. That's the best time of the year. I'm like, no.
I love it.
I really, really hate that. Well, if you're American, you're listening, I don't think you guys already changed hours. I think you were waiting for another 2 weeks, but we went into the winter time. So we got an extra hour to the day, but that also means that it gets darker way sooner. So, and it's windy out. If you're watching the video podcast, you can see behind me that it is just kind of dark and windy, and there's rain, and it's fall. It's really fall. It's like that typical. I love Halloween, but not the Halloween weather. But on Wednesday, I'm getting on a flight to the UK, and then I'm getting to a flight to Los Angeles, where hopefully will be a little better weather.
Escaping the cold.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be wearing a t-shirt outside. Screw you guys. You know what the funny thing is? Like the last time I was there. Last time for Blizzcon. Well, every time I was there for like in November. I've been in the States before, but I usually, you know, I go to San Francisco in March, or I've been like done a whole West Coast tour in July, August. But if you go to a place that it's always warm, like let's say Los Angeles in November, for me as a Belgian, as European, Western European, it's really weird how you feel this summer vibe. The sun is out, it's warm, everybody's running around on slippers, eating ice cream, you're taking these crazy rides in Disneyland that get you soakingly wet. And then suddenly it gets dark and you're like, shit, the day is over. It's 8 p.m., it's 10 p.m. No, it's 3 p.m., 4 p.m. The sun is starting to set at 3 or 4 p.m. You still have like, I don't know, 8 hours to go. In the amusement park, well, I don't know. I don't remember how late it's open. And it's this weird sensation. I never get used to it. I don't know why we're talking about that. I guess I'm just kind of excited to be traveling to BlizzCon next week. But we're going to be talking a lot about BlizzCon. First, let me explain. Hannah could not make it because on top of everything else that she's been suffering with, she apparently got a new virus. And Frozen told her, Hannah, viruses are not Pokemon. You do not need to collect all of them. And I just wisely shut the fuck up because I managed to get sick a second time in 6 weeks this week. So I'm actually doing the Pokemon thing myself. But it doesn't impact me as much as it does Hannah, of course. And so she had to bail on this week again. And apparently LP is somewhere in Texas.
In Houston, I think. Whatever he's doing there.
He always has this, like, if we ping everybody, like, we're going to record a podcast, he always sends a picture of whatever he's doing at that point, if he can't make it. And he sent this really funny looking picture with this weird ass explanation. I'm not going to give because that's private. But it's almost like a puzzle, isn't it? Don't you think so?
I just think that he's avoiding me because he hasn't been here since I've been on the podcast.
Oh, no, Frozen. He has not been here for many, many episodes. He's just really busy. I mean, he works for Misfits. He's He's a busy little man. He's traveling a lot, and then he imports his own Germans and whatnot. I don't think he's afraid of you. I think, if anything, I think he would love to talk to you because of his new girlfriend and the fact that she's German, and he wants to practice his German and kind of, I don't know.
And she lives quite close to me, actually.
She's your neighbor. Could you imagine that the door behind you opens up and she walks in and goes, "Oh shit, you're recording. Sorry."
That would be super creepy.
Yeah. Imagine it being your roommate or something, which would be difficult because your roommate is male, right? That would be a bit of
I have 2 roommates that are male, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That would take a few operations to get that fixed. All right. Maybe one slash of a really big axe. Yeah, the Halloween vibe. It's there. Anyways, this episode we're going to be talking about one important thing. Blizzcon. We're going to be talking about what is going to happen next weekend because we're getting really close, and Blizzard has been very aloof about it, like sharing the schedule literally not even a week before it's about to start, and it's looking kind of different than usual. But then we hear these rumors, and people that are on the inside are like, "Oh man, it's going to be oh." So either they're sitting on a hot plate or big things are about to happen. But first, before we do that, there was one more thing that Frozen said we needed to discuss, otherwise Scorpio was going to kick our ass. And that is the Sserafim crossover. We've been talking about this a few weeks now, that they announced that they would be doing a crossover with the K-pop band Sserafim, and that there were going to be skins. Now we got a look at those skins. The video clip for Sserafim's new single, A Perfect Night, I think it was released, which is a beautiful video clip. I mean,
it is super pretty.
Yeah. I'm not into K-pop, so I muted it. But no, I didn't. I can stand it. I don't mind. No, it was really beautifully done. There's even a little story to it. And the thing I like the most about it, and then I'll let Frozen talk about it because I'm ranting again, is that they kind of take these characters that we know in game and in the lore of the game, and they bring them together in a very unique way, which is not canon. Will, our good friend, that helps out with a little research on everything that we do, he was already kind of going like, what if they bring them together because they want to let us know that Kiriko is going to be joining the Overwatch team and blah blah blah. Like, well, I think we don't need to look too much into it. I think this is just kind of yeah, this is not canon. This is just as cheeky as the what was it again, the dating sim and whatnot. So I wouldn't look too far into it. But yeah, it has this little storyline to it, and they bring these people together, and I don't know, it kind of humanizes them in another way than we usually.
It's super cute. I mean, we got to see the skins fully again, like properly, and a lot of people have gone nuts over the skins. Like, I'm not that much into pop music, anyways, and
Metal.
I heard some kind of K-pop here and there, but the way they like introduced like the song with like, I think Me and My Girls or something like that, and then like all of the Overwatch girlies going to a concert together, trying to get there in time, using their abilities. It's kind of a really cute way to incorporate it.
Yeah, it is.
So cute.
Especially the moment where Kiriko kind of boosts the van, and then Toki kind of shows up to carry it along. Like, that is kind of funny. Which, look, I know I'm nitpicking, but you're driving a hover car. Why do you need Toki? I don't get it. But anyways, I mean,
Tracer's face said a lot about that. I was like, is that a really good idea?
The first time ever, yeah. Tracer's always like the really bold one, like the one that is always out for an adventure, and she's on the backseat going, guys, should we be doing this? I don't think this is a good idea.
She once got lost in time by driving a very fast vehicle. I don't think she wants that again.
Yeah, that might be it. Maybe some flashbacks, bad memories. Go ahead.
How they forgot their tickets, and then just Tracer recalled to get them.
Yeah.
It's not kind of how her recall works, but it's really cute.
That was a long distance recall, that's what I'm telling you. And then Bob is the bouncer. He's the one that is doing the security at the concert, which is also kind of funny.
Adorable detail.
Yeah.
Well, like, they did it pretty well. Like, I didn't know Sserafim before as a band, and I'm not that much into it, but like how they did it is pretty well done.
Yeah,
like a lot of people are going to want those skins.
Oh,
even
definitely.
I myself are like, I kind of want one of those skins. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend any money on them. I mean, if kind of depends on how long the event is going to be running, because I'm not going to be playing Overwatch for, well, at least a week. But I think they're going to be up for, I don't know, a week or two, or maybe even 3. So I'm not too worried about that. But no, I'm not spending any money. If there's one you can get for free, I mean, I'll go that extra mile. Sure, why not? To add it to my collection. But they look good.
It's 5 skins, I think one of them at least is earnable, maybe.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think one of them is definitely going to be earnable. I just noticed that on the video you can see the side of my my other camera that is standing right next to my camera that I'm using for the recording of this podcast. So you guys get to see an extra camera. Look at that. That's my streaming camera, by the way. Let me turn it away. I was wondering what I think. Oh, look, Pepsi advertising. What do you guys think of my lava lamp, by the way, the viewers? Let me know in the comments. The listeners, come on, guys. Join us on YouTube. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful, right? You got a lava lamp. So proud of it.
The lava lamp and me color coordinated today.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a beautiful color. Look at that. Anyway, so yeah, and afterwards they shared this clip of the skins, because yeah, you got to see the skins in high def in the animated short that was made, by the way, by the Blizzard team. So all the animated parts were made by Blizzard, and all the live action was, of course, just people in the Sserafim. But they show the in-game skins, and they look beautiful. Like the Sombra one is a very popular one. Brigitte seems to be doing really well, because she looks kind of different.
The most popular one, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of surprising since Brigitte doesn't usually get this much love, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, definitely. And Tuki looks a little different too in the skin. So they went pretty far out with this. So the only thing I'm kind of wondering now, I'm not worried about it, is what are they going to do with the game mode? Because if they put this much effort in the skins and they want to tie game mode into it, I don't think, like, if it's going to be another variation of that match, which it most likely is going to be, that is kind of a missed opportunity, because this would be perfect for something else, like to do something with the security Bob, or like to go a little more creative workshop style. You know what I mean? Like maybe some type of I don't know what they call it in English, but you know, where from the Korean game did it too, like where someone is with their back towards the group, and as long as they're a bit back to the group, everybody can sneak closer.
Red light, green light?
Is that it? I don't know what it's called. In Dutch it's called 1, 2, 3 piano, and I don't know why.
It's red light, green light, where like when they say red light, they turn around, they have to stand still.
Yeah. But it's kind of weird how the rest of the world says red light, green light, and in the Dutch-speaking countries we go 1, 2, 3 piano, and then you know.
I don't know what the names in German even. Like, I don't know if we even have that game.
Yeah. I mean, they could do something really fun with it. We'll see. Tomorrow, actually. They're going to release the info tomorrow, and I'll probably make a video about it. So yeah, I think this is a fun event, especially for the fans. Can you imagine? And that is one of the things that I don't like about the skins, is that there's like Le Sserafim logos all over those skins. I mean, if they would not have the Le Sserafim logos on there, I would kind of be more enthusiastic about it. I'm going to be honest. It's just like, I don't want to kind of, it just gets that connotation immediately, like you're a fan, or you're like, nah, I don't care that much about it. But just for the fans, that is just huge. It's just amazing. I mean, can you imagine if you're a fan of Le Sserafim and you play Overwatch a lot? This is just a dream event. So,
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can just imagine if like one of my favorite metal bands would have a collab in Overwatch and I could rock their skins. That would be crazy.
I said it in my video, get a Slipknot collab in there.
Please.
That's about the most commercial thing I listen to. So, I mean, no, just a few more, but I think that would work really well with the masks. Like my favorite bands, like Meshuggah, I don't think they're Swedish guys that, like, no nonsense. I wouldn't even be interested, and nobody would be interested in doing it. But I can imagine, I can put myself in that spot, in that place, and go like, oh, that would kind of be awesome. If I would have Lucio running around with a Meshuggah t-shirt on, I would be like, yeah, fuck that. This is my new skin. I'm done. No need to get any more Lucio skins or Reinhardt skins if they have a Meshuggah logo on it. All right. But that is happening starting November 1st. The event is starting. The skins will be available. We don't know how. We don't know if they're all going to be paid. We found out that we'll find that out on Monday when they release all the info, and we'll keep you guys updated.
Maybe you already know.
Yeah, possibly, because that's kind of true. Because for the patrons, they will be listening to this episode immediately after we recorded it. For the other people, it will be out on Monday. So the best way, just join the Patreon and you can listen on every Sunday evening. You can listen to our sweet voices right here on Omnic Radio.
I can't go that deep.
I'm taking advantage of the fact that my voice hasn't fully recuperated, so I have this really kind of deep tone. In my head, it sounds a lot deeper than it probably does, but anyways.
Still deep.
All right. Let's talk about BlizzCon. I think that is the big topic for the coming weeks. BlizzCon has always been this event where the big announcements have been made. Overwatch was originally announced at BlizzCon. Overwatch 2 was announced at BlizzCon the last time I was there in 2019. And we know what all happened after that. It hasn't happened for a few years. Sorry, I was going to say for a few weeks. No, for a few years because of the pandemic in the first instance. But also because of everything that happened at Blizzard, These stories that came out of the special room at BlizzCon, some people in the team that were kind of being very abusive and whatnot, all these stories, that did not help with the kind of, the image of Blizzard itself and of BlizzCon specifically. But over time, I mean, I think it's clear that Blizzard has made some very serious strides forward, has made them progress on these types of things, safety, employee safety. But it's not something they talk about very openly. Well, they do sometimes, just in a PR way. But from what we hear from people that work there, with like the vibe that you can catch just on social media, it does definitely seem that a lot has changed and that it is a way safer space and that the problems have been dealt with. We've heard all the stories. And then, of course, there were... Yeah, exactly. Then there was a change in management, and then they decided to skip 1 year to kind of reimagine it. There were a lot of people that wondered if it was ever going to come back after all that, after the pandemic, after the change in management, after the whole debacle. But yeah, here we go. We're a week away from a new BlizzCon, a different BlizzCon. Like, from what we've seen on the schedule and what they have communicated, they communicated a floor map. And they shared the schedule. And one thing that stood out for me personally was that the panels, a lot of these panels have been scrapped. So back in the day, you would have, for every IP, you would have at least 4 to sometimes even 6 panels around those IPs. And it would always be one looking further into the future and a deep dive. Those two are still in there. So every IP still gets 2 panels on top of the opening ceremony where the big announcements will be made. So that is going to be a new expansion for World of Warcraft, a new expansion for Diablo. We'll get into all that in a second. But then there's the Q&A panels, for instance, where people can ask questions to a team of developers. Or like one of my favorites, I really kind of bummed out that is gone, is the voice actor panels. They used to do these panels where the voice actors would be present and they would kind of play off each other and kind of tell their stories and tell how they kind of got to voice those characters. And it was kind of a niche panel in the sense that not everybody was interested in that, but if you were interested in that, it was super interesting. And on top of that, it was just fun.
I mean, that sounds like we saw some, I saw some videos of that, but later when it was recorded. But the chemistry that is there between the voice actors, on top, with voice actors you don't necessarily see a lot on social media or in general, it's just super fun. And I think, honestly, it would be cool to have that with the new additions.
Yeah, exactly.
To the roster. So that's kind of sad, but maybe they have a reason, or maybe they're gonna bring it back next year. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be an experiment. They're going to evaluate this, and we'll see. I think we are going to evaluate how this all goes. But yeah, it was always a lot of fun to see the voice actors. It kind of also put them center stage. If I'm not mistaken, I've seen a lot of people announce that they'll be presenting. I think there's a team of 4 people, and all of them are, I think, content creators at least. are going to be doing the presentation of the community night on the last night, which used to be on Fridays. Now it's on Saturdays, and it will be followed up by the Sserafim concert. And Darren DePaul, who the voice actor for Reinhardt, he who must be thinking that I'm after his job by now. He I don't think he's going to be doing it, and he did an amazing job. I'm really kind of bummed out that he won't be doing it. But you know, that's just the thing. Change happens, and change always brings this kind of awe feeling with it. You know, it always is like, oh, I'm going to miss that part, but it also brings something fresh. So I'm looking forward to see how this new event will turn out, and yeah, what the perception is going to be, because this is kind of weird. We're talking about changes. I think for the first time, I'm pretty confident that it's for the first time ever, Blizzcon did not sell out. There's still tickets available. Like, people that still want to go last minute can still buy a ticket. It's still the same price, still shit expensive, but and that is kind of weird. That never happened before, and that does have something to do with the pricey tickets. But I think there's more. Like, I think everybody's kind of waiting. Everybody's kind of like, yeah, let's skip this year and see how it turns out, and maybe next year we'll go, you know?
I mean, it was the same way with Gamescom after COVID,
Mm-hmm.
because the first year Gamescom was gonna be again, a lot of publishers weren't there, because, and also like even the Saturday that's usually sold out the fastest didn't sell out completely. So that's might be just normal in the beginning when you do like something after a while again. That
Mhm.
like people are just like waiting, seeing how it goes. If it goes well, they're gonna like come back next year too. It's like exactly the same thing what happened with Gamescom, because like this year when we went again, that was like the second time Gamescom happened. It was so much fuller, so many publishers returned. Days were sold out again very quickly. It's just a normal thing that people are kind of waiting and see how things go, because it's better for them if they're not there if shit goes wrong, or
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it ends up being shit.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it is an expensive thing. If you have to pay $300 for a ticket on top of your travel expenses, for me as European, that is, you know, there's no cheap way of flying to LA, unless you're a witch. You can use your broom, but I don't think you want to be in the wind for 12 hours, depending on how fast your broom is. I don't know why.
Just teleport.
I wish. Man, I wish. I'm dreading the whole kind of traveling experience already. I mean, I've talked about this a million times by now, but just the idea of sitting on a plane for so many hours as someone my size, and I got an extra leg space seat and whatnot, but I also have to I have to arrive in London, and because I bought both tickets separately, if you have any tips on this, on how to do this easier, let me know. Really, because I've been Googling it, and I just keep getting the same thing. So I need to go in Brussels. I need to get past customs. I need to fly to London, get past customs, go outside the airport from Terminal 5 to 3 or from 3 to 5. I forgot. I know I wrote it down somewhere. I have to go outside the airport. So that is going to take me at least a few hours. And then I have to go to the other terminal and completely start the thing over again. So check in, go through customs, kind of the whole shebang, the whole thing. And then in the States, again, customs and the whole parade. And I'm going to be knackered by the time I get in LA.
You have multiple airports in Belgium?
Yeah. We have 3, but there's only one important one. Like, there's one in Charleroi, one in Brussels, one in Ostend.
I know that some, like, for example, here in Germany, I know that you can get like a flight directly to America, but you have to like use for example, you can fly from here, from Frankfurt, you can fly to Denver, and from Denver to Anaheim, which is like you don't have to do this whole customs thing twice, because once you're in America, you're in America.
Yeah, but I kind of went for the option that kind of made most sense when it comes to matching the hours when I can arrive and depart. That I didn't have to drive to Amsterdam, for instance. There's direct flights from Amsterdam to LA. That's the closest. If I start from Brussels, I always have to and I could have gone for Atlanta, for instance, and then, which would have been easier. But that was like, I'm not going to exaggerate, not say double, but it was sometimes in some cases like 500, 600 extra bucks that I'm not willing to pay.
Oh, okay.
I get right now. I'm flying with Virgin from the UK to Los Angeles, which is good. I mean, I've flown with Virgin in the past, and it's a really good airline to fly with. I got a decent seat, like the best economy seat that you can get with extra legroom and whatnot. And then from Brussels, it's just British Airways, like from Brussels to London, at a price that is way cheaper, including my luggage and everything else, than the base price was to just fly anywhere else. It was kind of insane. I saved money and got better seats on top of it, so I decided to go that route. But at that point, I didn't think about all that.
I mean, if it's like that, I guess maybe the hassle could be worth it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get through it. Yeah.
Everything.
Usually, I stress about it because I want to be prepared. But then I'm usually so prepared that it actually goes pretty smooth because I have all my papers where I need to have them, and I'm kind of like just in this mindset of I need to get from A to B as soon as possible. And what often happens, we'll see. What often happens is that I'm there in a way shorter time and then have to wait really long because I was way too fast. I'd rather have that.
Yeah. It's chiller if you don't have to stress about it.
Exactly. But anyways. Yeah. Traveling. It's always an adventure.
I love it.
But we were saying that, yeah, it's an expensive trip to do. And then you still have to pay the hotel. And trust me, the hotels around conventions like BlizzCon, those hotels, they charge through the roof. It's kind of insane. I managed to get kind of a decent price. But I've seen prices like, if you want to stay close to the convention center, like there's two big hotels, the Hilton and I think it's the Sheraton. And Blizzard kind of rents a lot of rooms in those places, but a lot of like content creators and other people kind of stick in those two hotels because they're literally a walking distance. They're next to the convention center, but the prices are like $3,000 for a few nights. Like
shit.
That is just insane. I mean, I paid something like $1,200 for a week now, so that's manageable.
And that's still a shit ton of money, but
it is still yeah, definitely. I'll just Uber. Back and forth. It's not even that far. I think I can walk it like in 15 minutes. I can use a walk.
That's very European of you.
Yeah, it is. I mean, last March I was in San Francisco and I was kind of walking around with people in the industry, and GDC. And we went to this hotel bar where a lot of kind of the big wigs kind of meet up to just kind of go have a drink, but it's always kind of fun to see the big names in the industry, kind of what they're up to and what they're doing. And then on the way back, we wanted to go back to the convention center, and the person I was with said like, yeah, let's get an Uber. And like, I can see the convention center from right here, we just have to do like a 15-minute walk. Nah, let's get an Uber. Like, what? That Uber is just going to drive around the whole of San Francisco to end up there because everything is one-way traffic. I was like, what? How wide would you guys always jump in a car?
It's America. The city is not built for humans, it's built for cars.
Yeah. San Francisco is kind of like some parts of San Francisco, not all of them. Some parts are really kind of a little more pedestrian friendly, but yeah, there's a lot of cars there.
Cities are not meant to be walkable. It's the easiest to get anywhere, and if you're used to it.
Yeah, my hometown is kind of different in that way. Like they blocked all traffic from the city center, and it's just like bikes and pedestrians only.
And we have like bike lanes, like broad pedestrian walkways and shit too. It's like, especially like this city is very walkable. I walk everywhere. Maybe I take the bus sometimes, but I don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a good walk, guys. Good news is though, I'm right in front of a Target, so I'm going to be. Yeah, snacks, exactly. See, me and Frozen, we get along pretty well. The snacks, that is exactly the first thing I thought about. Like, I'm going to be arriving probably when it's closed already. But the next morning, I'm just going to walk in there and come out with like 3 bags of crap-ass food that I'll be divulging over the next 8 days. You're mine. All right. Anyways, let's continue about the whole BlizzCon experience. Jesus Christ, we're getting diverted a little bit. Yeah, it's not any different. I'm starting to think that I'm the problem here, Frozen. Because me and Hannah do this thing too, where we just kind of veer off in the weirdest directions, and the listeners are like, "Is this still an Overwatch podcast?" It is, I swear.
It's about BlizzCon, okay, and the experience.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, if you want to follow my experience, because we're kind of going into detail and kind of background info and whatnot. I'll be posting a lot of videos on the Damesy's channel, on my personal channel. I'll be posting videos, photos on my personal Instagram, on Discord. I'm going to be spamming that IRL channel like it's crazy. I'm going to be sharing all my experiences with you guys. If you're patrons, I'll drop in a few extra photos and extra pieces of content. I mean, I'm going to be sharing. I'm all by myself. Usually Hilda comes with me, but this year around she couldn't. I mean, there was no option for her to join me. But I'll have plenty of time to kind of. The only thing I'll be doing is making content. I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm going to be working 8 days in a row, just making content and networking and kind of, building a future.
Join on Discord, get comfy, and see what he's up to.
Yeah, exactly. On top of that, there's a few special channels that have been made on our Discord where our community will be watching the opening streams and the panels all together, where people will be discussing the content for Blizzcon. So, look, if you're looking for a community, come join us. Discord.gg/Damesies. It's a fun community.
Super fun. You always see people gaming or doing shit.
So. Yeah, exactly. And it's been growing on a daily basis. It's been going fast, actually. We're getting to the point where we can become a public server. I think we're really, really close. But anyways, let's continue. We were talking about the fact that it is an expensive thing. It wasn't sold out. Like you said, Frozen, I think it is people kind of waiting it out and seeing how this is going to happen. The fact that everything is getting streamed for free, by the way, I see a lot of people kind of asking questions like, I did a poll asking, are you going to watch BlizzCon? And some people were like, yeah, I'm not going to pay for that. And like, you don't have to pay for that. That bundle that you can buy is just the cosmetics in game. It has nothing to do with the stream. The stream is free for everybody on Twitch, on YouTube. You can watch it. You can watch it on our Discord.
You can co-stream it. There's like a co-stream program for content creators where they can apply and just like watch it with their viewers. Which is pretty cool.
I think that also kind of makes people more, how do you say it? They kind of like feeling more comfortable waiting it out and seeing how it turns out. And if the people like myself that did go this year come back all raving and enthusiastic about how much fun it was, but the fact that there are less panels, I feel like the shift of BlizzCon is more about the experiences. It's about less about, hey, meet the team, and more like meet each other and meet our products and see we have these fun experiences that we have set up for you that are based on our game, or there are games, or go check them out. Go check those out. I think that is more of a shift where it used to be more like come hang with us and there would be developers running around all the place, which I think might still be the case, of course. And they would do these panels that were very interesting, like the art panel. I'm going to miss that one. Like when they started, the artists were invited to kind of show off all the stuff that they had made, all these previews, all these kind of concept arts and whatnot. It was such a fun panel to see. But I can also understand that the pressure for them to prepare for all that and to find the right people to do that is not. It also kind of, I mean, it impacts whatever you're doing.
For something new, you always have to lose something old.
Yeah, exactly.
But like incorporating more, like that the community, like amongst each other, like interacts and has fun together, and maybe you meet new people. That is a good thing, I think. Like you always like meeting the devs or like artists that worked on it is pretty cool, but at some point can get old. You know, if you have the fifth panel over like almost the same thing, but maybe like cut back 2 panels and do a fun activity with everyone that like sticks with them.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. I mean, there's still so much stuff that remain, like the Darkmoon Fair, the March of the Murlocs, and then BlizzCon is about the announcements and the new games that they're going to announce. And let's get into that. Like, what are we expecting? Let me just go over all the other Blizzard IPs, just for completeness sake. I know this is an Overwatch podcast, but a lot of us are also interested in the other Blizzard games. I notice that on a daily basis in my streams and on our Discord. And I think the big one that everybody's kind of rumored is going to get the most attention is World of Warcraft. There are some big things coming for World of Warcraft. There's going to be a new expansion announced. There have been some rumors about something with dwarves. more of a progression of that whole dragon story. I mean, I looked into it, I did some research, and for the first time ever, I couldn't really put my finger on like, oh yeah, this is going to be the one. Like with Dragonflight, with what was it called again? The one before that? Oh shit. The Shadowlands. I like they always kind of a few weeks before BlizzCon, you started to kind of hear about them, and even if it was a digital BlizzCon, you could hear about them, and you saw these logos appear, and you saw concept art, and I could always kind of pinpoint like, yeah, this is fake. Oh, this looks kind of authentic. Yeah, this is going to be it, and everybody was kind of convinced, and then it came true. Now there's so many of these small things that it is really hard to predict. I don't know what they did, but they managed to, for now at least, we still have a few days to go. They managed to kind of contain the leaks. So I don't know what that is going to be about. But I also did hear that, well, you saw me play some classic not too long ago, right, Frozen? The classic hardcore. Now they would... Yeah, briefly, till they started putting drops for Overwatch, and I noticed that a lot more people are interested in watching me play Overwatch than they do watching me Warcraft. So you basically have Classic, which is the old servers from back in the day. People wanted to the old Warcraft experience, so they set up these Classic servers where you basically could play Vanilla, the Burning Crusade, and Wrath of the Lich King, basically in the state that they came out, but over time some things have changed, some for the better, some for the worse. But now, apparently, they are working on the first expansion that has not been like a separate expansion for Classic. So they're taking those old models, those old engines and whatnot, that old storyline, the original, basically vanilla, like we call it, Warcraft, and they're going to open an alternate timeline for those Classic servers. So we're going to have retail where the story is going to continue with the dragons and blah, 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 just so the main storyline. But now, according to the rumors, they're going to be Classic Plus, and that is going to be an expansion on that old content, on the vanilla content, and they're going to keep building on that. And there's two rumors going around. One of them is that they're going to open up regions that they wanted to have in there when vanilla launched, but they didn't have time to do so because they ran out of time. Classic Blizzard story. They didn't manage to hit all of their goals.
Always running out of time.
Always running out of time. That they're going to, with Classic Plus, they're going to open up those storylines. They're going to focus more on those little hints that we saw back in vanilla, and make those full-fledged zones now with full-fledged storylines and enemies. And Chris Madsen, who came back, the old creative director for all things Blizzard, and basically the person that got a Soldier 76, for instance, is based off a sketch of Chris Madsen. He is taking the lead in that whole story. Another one is that it is going to be literally, they're going to take vanilla, and instead of the Burning Crusade, that them going into Outland, they're going to go somewhere completely different. They're going to veer off the storyline. They're going to pull a Loki on us and kind of go completely different directions. So if that happens, that is going to get a lot of attention. Especially everybody's going to be wondering, are they going to make new models? Are they going to use old models? Or what are they going to do? Because, yeah.
I mean, especially since World of Warcraft is still a huge community. Like, at some point, this game has been so popular.
Exactly.
Everybody kind of knows a bit about it. I mean, I played it when I was like 7 years old because my mom showed it to me.
I can almost remember like it was yesterday when I got vanilla Warcraft, and Frozen was 7 years old when she played it for the first time. Jesus Christ, yeah. I'm getting old. In any case, like that, those are kind of rumors that are going around. There's nothing to prove that except for some data mining that was done, but we'll see. I think that is kind of exciting. On top of that, and this is something important that we need to take into the later part of the podcast, but there are rumors that there's going to be a Warcraft Netflix series. Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it's not live action because
no, it's animated. It's animated. And some people claim that it's made by the same people that made Arcane.
Ooh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
They are such capable people.
Yeah. But we'll see.
Arcane was so good.
We'll see. That is
back to Overwatch.
Yeah, well, let's skip to the others. There's two more.
Oh, okay, true.
Uh,
Two more. Okay.
I'm not even going to touch on Warcraft Brawl, the new mobile game that is coming out. Then Diablo is getting a new expansion. We know that Diablo is going to get will have seasons, like 4 quarterly seasons every year, and every year there is supposed to be an expansion coming out for Diablo 4. I feel like the second season, the season of Blood, has been doing way better than the first season from what I've been seeing. A lot more enthusiasm, a lot more excitement about that. A lot more people kind of enjoying the game again. I mean, we talked about this last week. But I mean, I'm happy that people are enjoying it more. I still need to check it out myself. That's kind of my plan to do at the hotel if I'm not out for some kind of event or whatnot, to play some Diablo, but that is not going to happen. That is my plan, but it never happens.
Always gonna be busy.
Always going to be busy, but I'm definitely going to be playing the new expansion that will probably be set up there. Let me think. What was the other one? Yeah, Hearthstone will probably have some news, but there's probably also going to be an announcement of a new IP, which is that survival game that they teased last year, and I forgot the temporary kind of project code name. Was it Prometheus or something?
I don't remember.
No, Prometheus was Overwatch. What was it again? Odyssey, I think it is. I think someone said it on our Discord at some point. I think Goldshell said it on Discord.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it's the survival game, you know, like and the things that people have been hearing about that, it's always, you know, they've been hearing from. It's like gossip at this point, but there have been people that have been saying that they're pretty far along with development, and for over half a year now that they're getting really close to release. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they announced it. I think this would be the perfect time actually to announce it. I would have released already in 2024. Hopefully we'll get to play a demo. I mean, that would be really, really nice.
I don't know what kind of game that's gonna be, like what it is, but
it's basically like Valheim and all those games, like, but then a Blizzard touch. And I'm excited about that because I did not play any shooters before Overwatch. I used to play shooters back in the day, the old Call of Duty and Medal of Honor games, but over time I got less and less interested in shooters. And Overwatch got me back hooked on shooters because it was a different approach. It was typically Blizzard. I said, I think on the podcast a few weeks ago, that I think Blizzard is like Apple. They take a product and that already is being made, that other people have made, that is not new, unique, or new in any way, but they make it better. They put their DNA in there and it becomes this huge success because they kind of listen to what people want and they try to figure out how they can make that better and kind of fit the end users' needs better, because that is what Apple does. Apple is a product company. Apple is not a phone maker. Apple is not a watchmaker. Apple is a product company that sees a segment, that sees a market, that sees that the people that are very active in that market do not listen to the end users because they think that they have the solution and that their way is the way forward. And they kind of take that market, they listen to those end users and what their complaints are, and they're going to try and take away all those complaints and kind of polish everything.
I mean, Overwatch, I said it before, I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but Overwatch is the shooter for people who don't like shooters.
Yeah.
Because it is so different. I mean, it's the first shooter I ever played and probably the only shooter I'll ever play because that's usually not my type of game. I'm more into cozy games, teamwork games, stuff like that, or like farming. But Overwatch it got gifted to me, but it just caught my attention by its uniqueness, and by like the characters' uniqueness and by the community as well. Like the Overwatch community when I started playing this was just like a bucket of wholesomeness. Like of course you had like a few toxic apples in there, but the amount of like chilling games, wholesome games, like people complimenting each other, like that. I've been seeing that again recently, but like the community just like made me stay. And as I got better, of course, also like gameplay wise. But I mean, I was shit in the beginning. I had no idea about shooters.
Everybody is shit at the beginning.
Oh yeah, I mean it's probably different if it's your first shooter ever, but it's
definitely.
It is like it's just so unique and different. So maybe we'll see something like amazing with a new game.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking, is that they're going to put that same kind of touch, or like Warcraft 2. There were other MMORPGs before that, like EverQuest and whatnot. But they took it and they brought it to this next level, and I think they might be doing that with the survival game, and it might be like I heard rumors about. I think it was Goldshell that said it on Discord that they will allow you to build complete villages, and that you will be able to trade potions and stuff like that, or buy and sell potions to each other. So we'll see. I mean, if it's just going to be about potions and whatnot, that's not going to be the difference. But it's like the whole visual style, the atmosphere, the story. That is the things that are going to make it stand out. Let's see. So I'm kind of excited to see that.
If Blizzard can do one thing great, it's atmosphere and style.
Yeah, exactly. They have the best artists in the world. They can make something really shiny. All right, but let's get for the last, let's say, 15 minutes of the podcast. Let's focus a little bit on Overwatch. We kind of already know, if you've been following this podcast, if you've been following the Omnic post, like the huge headlines of what we can expect are kind of known. That they're going to introduce the next tank hero, which is about a 90% chance that is going to be Maga, since the Samoa map was released last year with all these Easter eggs that point at Maga. If it's not going to be Maga, we've said this before, there's going to be riots, there's going to be tar and feathers, it's going to be a bloodfest. We'll see. But on top of that, it could be anybody else, but let's not focus on that. On top of that, there's going to be competitive 3.0 or 2.1. I don't know what to call it. Because I don't think it's...
on how much they rework it.
Exactly.
They reworked it before, like from the change Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2. But else, like, it depends if it's an update, like, or if they just completely rework it. That's like something we have to wait. We're gonna see it.
I'm inclined to say that it's going to be 2.1 and not 3.0. Just saying. I think we're going to see some changes, but not in the sense that it is going to be a complete reset, enough to, at least to call it a 3.0. But that is going to be interesting, and I know a lot of people are going to be watching that, and that for a lot of people, this is going to be very important, even more important than whatever hero they're going to announce. Because there's still a lot of frustration out there about the system. I'm not going to say for a big group of people, but for a small group of people that is very vocal and that has a lot of reach. And I think overall, most competitive players are not too bothered about it. They just they get frustrated in one moment and they're kind of happy the next. It's kind of weird how I still see comments about the matchmaking, and that in the last few weeks, we have had so many matches where we kind of flip the game around between rounds or at the end, or like I am really starting to think that people need to just grow a pair and push through.
I mean, that's what I've been saying every time we win one of those games. This is why we don't leave games.
Exactly.
Because there's always a chance that in the end you can make a comeback when you can like disrupt the role of like the enemy team and like get into a groove with your own team. So you can just plow through, like, I don't know, the last point, or you can capture something. And there's always a possibility, but if you give up from the start, of course, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I fully agree. Like, we have had, and with the community, with the games on stream and off stream, we've had way more games than ever where we got rolled really hard. Where if you would be someone without a backbone, someone that cannot deal with adversity, and is it adversity? I don't know. With a little bit of a challenge, let's keep it at that. That you'll topple over, that you'll leave the game, or that you call GG, as I see happen in my random groups, where people, they get one round, and people are already like, yeah, this is lost. Like, what? No, just push through a little bit, adjust, adapt. I mean, this is a team-based shooter where you have to counter the enemy team. Do that, and you'll be fine. And but yeah, that we just kind of made it through in the last point, or kind of toppled it over between two rounds and kind of rolled them. And I'm really like, okay, people, if you think the balance is broken, if you feel the balance is broken, you need to take a breather and look at yourself for a second. Maybe it's just your attitude, or maybe you need to adjust and kind of pick another hero once in a while to make it work. Because and I don't want to be rude to anybody. I do think there are still outlier situations where it doesn't balance and it doesn't work out. And it's hard to tell if it's a balancing issue or you just, as a group, have failed. But overall, that whole feeling of this was not a balanced match. These people in front of me, my opponents, are from a way higher skill level. Sometimes they're way sweatier, I can tell you that much. But that has nothing to do with skill. That is just because they want it a little more and you're trying to chill and relax a little more. But that is a different story. That is not something you can matchmake on. But if you really feel like that, I mean, I think it's time to switch things up or something. Or it's really, you are the problem. That's what I'm trying to say here.
I think these kinds of games just show that maybe it's more balanced than people think.
Yeah, I
If
think
you
so.
are able to switch things around at the end and like roll the enemy team, that just means that like the issue is not with the matchmaking. Like if you give up halfway through the match and either leave or don't try anymore, that's like entirely on you.
But that happened so
But
fast.
not everyone is so self-reflected or like able to like admit that maybe they're the problem and not the matchmaking. It's easier to blame everyone else.
I think we have that advantage because we kind of feel responsible for each other. To kind of, we won't give up as much because, well, first off, I'm there, I'm streaming, everybody's watching, so everybody in my group kind of feels like, okay, we need to. I can't. If I leave now, I'm leaving, and everybody has like, you know what I mean, like. And we just have a group of people. The people I play with are all very flexible in what they play and what they do, and they all kind of have each other's back. And I think we tend to push through always. And it has been insane how much like we felt like we were getting. How many times have I said through a stream, I did not expect we were going to win that one. I've said that during every single stream at least 3 to 5 times. In the last few weeks.
How did we win this?
Yeah, how did we win this? How did this happen? And it's just adjust.
Or you just try goofy things. Like we had a point where we were on King's Row, and I, as Moira, just faded behind the payload and got the point.
Yeah, that was funny. That was so funny. That was so funny.
Like, like that. But I think like we have at least 1 or 2 people on the team always that even if the others get frustrated or like they get annoyed, like we have at least 1 or 2 people on the team that say, "Hey, you can do this. Come on, we can push through." Like, not everyone has that.
Yeah, we just kind of exactly. We do something goofy, or I don't know. We manage. We sometimes just kind of flip things around and get things in the weirdest ways. I was thinking about something else earlier, but it slipped my mind. I completely forgot. I got distracted. But it can always happen. Like, people give up way too easily. I think the fact that that's what I wanted to say. I think one of the things that helped out is the group respawn. Because there's one weakness even in our little group is that we sometimes engage solo. I'll even do that sometimes because I won't engage solo, but I'll jump in because I see 2 people struggling and I'm usually playing support and I want to kind of help them out. But by the time I get there, they're dead and I'm standing there like, oh shit. All right, let's get out of here. And I don't kind of fall back fast enough because I think like I'm Mr. Superman. I'm going to kill all of them. Yeah, right. But no, I think the group respawn has made a huge difference in that. And even in my random groups, like I've seen that flip around. I've seen that flip around happen. Even if some people left and the new people come in, but at that point you can say like, oh yeah, but those new people are better. But that's just it. Blizzard will match the people that left. They'll get the same kind of people in. Like you're not going to get way better people in on that role. You're going to get the exact same level of people in. Then I'm going to
that left and spawned into the same game.
Oh yeah, I always welcome them back. I'll tell like, hey, welcome back, and then they leave again, and then they come back again, welcome back, and then they just stop. They probably killed the game, closed the game then.
Maybe.
I have to say, for now, I don't. The lever problem seems to have gotten a little better, but still a lot of like, just not even halfway through a round, and they're already gone. Like, what the hell?
I still saw people like raging about it on X, that they were like, if I see that kind of map, I will always leave. And I just tweeted under it, like, yeah, you're exactly the kind of person why we need those penalties.
Yeah,
You're the reason why we need those.
yeah, exactly.
So,
I
be
mean,
quiet.
it's like getting a stew and then starting to pick out all the carrots. You don't want the carrots in my stew. Like, yeah, don't eat stew then. The carrots
Pick
are parts
something
of the
else.
stew.
Or don't put the carrots in there. I don't know.
Well, no,
Like,
right. They don't get
if
to put the carrots in there. Blizzard does that.
someone gives you delicious stew, like you get delicious food. Don't complain, or just say, "Hey, I'm gonna do something else. I don't like the stew. I don't like carrots."
I
Or
really
play
have to.
another mode.
Uh, I really have to hold back at times like that because I really feel like the old man that is like, man, these kids, man, they don't have a backbone anymore. And I really, that's like always what goes through my mind. Like, just a little pushback, just a little thing that is not going their way, and they're out, like out.
It's not only the young people. Like,
No. That's why I hold back because I know it's people from all ages. It's just people in general, man. The world is burning. The world is going to shit. But we can't stick with a freaking game because it's Rome or because it's I don't know. There's always a reason.
entitlement. They just think I should be able to have like games. Like they categorize fun games as games where I win and completely dominate. That's
Yeah.
fun for them. But not everything is gonna be handed to you, especially in a game like this. Sometimes you have to work. And I mean, if you manage to flip around a game mid-game and win it, it feels pretty fucking good.
It's the
But
best. It's the best experience. It's way better than rolling the enemy team from the beginning to the end because you will have worked really hard and got the best result you could have gotten. I mean, there's no better feeling.
Yeah, it's amazing. But for being able to experience this feeling, you have to push through first, and a lot of people just don't do that.
Yeah, and loss is a part of life. If you don't, I mean, if you don't know that by now, it's just a part of life.
We can't help you if you don't know that by now, honestly.
Losing is part of a video game. Like, man, can you imagine? Like the first Super Mario I played, if you died, you died. You had like 3 lives. If your 3 lives were gone, like you could have been in World 6, level 3. If you died at that point, you didn't have any lives anymore. You had to restart, and that was hours of play that you had to redo.
I mean, I remember one of the first video games I played was like I think I was 4 or 5 years old on the Game Boy of my mom. Super Mario Bros. And that's like when you die, you die. Even when you're on the last level and you die, you have to start all over again.
From the start. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's why I threw my Game Boy against the wall so many times. But anyways, back to Overwatch. So competitive. We'll see how it turns out. We know, like, I do think we're going to get a first glimpse of the next PvE missions. I think that is going to be in the books. I'm hoping that they're going to do some announcement that is going to surprise us when it comes to PvE about pricing, for instance. I don't know. I feel like some things are about to change when it comes to the whole business model for Overwatch. Like they announced already that they're going to be talking about they're going to be talking about a new battle pass and a new shop in January. The most cynical people in the community say, yeah, okay, they're going to raise the prices. I'm more inclined to think that they're kind of trying to find a more balanced way of making enough money to make everybody happy involved, to make the bosses happy, but also to make the players happy, but also to kind of allow players to earn way more than they could in the past, and that we get somewhere the middle road between Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2. But no, loot boxes are not in there. I mean, maybe no, but I wouldn't exclude it. But it could be that loot boxes are going to be a thing that is going to drop. But for instance, every 5 levels, there could be a random box in there that drops something random out of the whole inventory that you could get. That could be something that you're thinking about for the battle pass. As long as they don't offer them as like a reward system, that every reward that you get is through these random things, and they start selling the loot boxes, I'm fine with it. We can do whatever we want.
I don't know, implement it into the progression system. That like if you have a certain level in the progression system.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think we're going to get a glimpse of what their bigger vision is when it comes to that monetization. That we might lift a little tip of the veil and kind of give us a little peek of what they're planning to do. I don't know. We'll see. But apart from that, it's kind of, we're going to see what else is going to happen in the future. So the rest of this season, we don't know. Everything past BlizzCon is currently a black hole. We don't know which events are coming for us. We know the Sserafim event is going to start November 1st. But Halloween is ending, I think, is it this week? When the Sserafim event starts, is Halloween is over?
Like that Halloween is over and then Sserafim is starting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the whole October was Halloween. And then it's gonna like do a little like, hey, Halloween over, let's do Sserafim until BlizzCon, until we know more, probably. That's how they probably planned it.
Yeah, exactly. We're probably going to get a glimpse of what the Roadhog rework is going to be about, and hopefully the people there will get to test it. And then Season 8, like what do they have planned for Season 8, Season 9, Season 10? What is coming? And I really hope they don't kind of make it too general like they usually do, like a bit of a chart. There's going to be a new hero in that season, like things that we already know. But at least give us some details. And I do think so, because there's like, the whole opening ceremony is 2.5 hours, so that is a lot of time to kind of explain a lot about all these games, even if they announce that new IP. And then the deep dive panels are each an hour and a half slotted, but I do think they kind of take the last 20 minutes of every, or the last half hour of every of these panels to kind of switch things over. So I don't think they kind of go from one to the other, because it's only on one stage. They don't have different stages anymore. Everything is happening in the arena. Oh, I just kind of hit my Windows button. All right, everybody in the video podcast just got a glimpse of my my tab opening up. Surprise! So yeah, we'll kind of have to see what they, how much time they get, but I hope they kind of go deep enough. I mean, if you have to talk an hour about the future of Overwatch, you don't just going to show an image. You're going to go a little deeper. You're going to go a little harder.
Would be nice if we just don't get, hey, this is gonna be a new map, this is gonna be a new hero. We'll like, I don't know, just not even that they go too much into detail about things, but just little like teasers, and not the teasers that are like, yeah, there's gonna be a new game mode, but maybe like what we can expect from that game mode. If it's something we already saw, like something similar of, if it's something completely new, just like these kinds of little things.
Yeah. I mean, I do think we're going to get some big surprise announcements. I like, from what I've been hearing, like there's always, like I said, nothing has really leaked, especially not about Overwatch. Everything that we know, like Maga and whatnot, is purely because of the Easter eggs that they put in. Like it's all coming from Blizzard themselves, which is a freaking miracle, man. Because up till season 7, shit got leaked. So
all the time, yeah.
We'll see. We still have a few days to go. But I really think from what I've been hearing, the vibe, like there are, of course, some people on the inside, and especially tied into Microsoft and whatnot, and those have been saying that overall BlizzCon is going to have a few big surprises. And also for Overwatch, there are some things that they have never mentioned before that they're going to be talking about now that are going to be very surprising for us. So there are going to be some things in there that we're going to go, oh shit, didn't see that one coming. That are going to sweep hopefully sweep us off our feet. I mean, that is what we need as a community right now. I think we've come to this tipping point where slowly the perception is changing. I made a video about it a few weeks ago, and sometimes we kind of veer back to that old habit. And some people will never lose that habit. Some people will remain angry at Overwatch till their last freaking day. But that's humanity. We're just kind of, at this point, the whole of society, just the world in general, humanity, we as a species are just a bunch of toxic bags of, let me censor myself. But that being said, I do feel like that shift has slowly been happening, and that the people that want to kind of approach this from a better standpoint and that are having fun are slowly getting above ground and feeling like they can admit again that they're having fun with the game and doing so.
And people don't have to be ashamed anymore that they enjoy the game.
Exactly. And the next step would be to kind of, basically embrace that, lift that, use that energy, that little optic that we have seen to set off a huge explosion that will even have the most critical people going, hey, wait, what happened there? What did they announce? Really? Let me check it out.
Yeah.
Let me have a look. And they'll probably shit all over it. but I think
As
we
they do.
need, as they do, but we need a few big things. We need a few wins now. I've said this for the last few months, and we've seen a few really good things. Like I think season 7 has been well received for being an off hero season. The skins and of course the drama with the whole Mora bundle and whatnot.
I mean, if I can say that, I think some of the off-hero seasons have been some of the best seasons we had. Like they didn't like just chill in those seasons. They still did like a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, it didn't always land as well as it did now for season 7. Like season 5 with the whole D&D theme did speak to a few people like yourself, especially because
I
you're a
loved it.
D&D player. And it did. I mean, that was fun, but it managed to kind of to nail it. You know, to kind of hit those marks that you need to hit for a season to be remembered as a good season. Now, let me also add that the perception of these seasons will shift over time. I mean, like I've said many times before, I've always played World of Warcraft until the last few years. I kind of lost time and kind of track of the whole of the game, and I occasionally still dive in. But I remember when Mists of Pandaria came out, there was so much hate for the fact that they were going to do that they were going to make these cuddly little pandas the main heroes and blah blah blah, and we're going to mimic. And there was people were either making fun of it, they were hating on it. It was just I don't know. It was such a negative experience. And now people are looking back at that as being one of the better expansions or the best expansions that they ever released. Like, yeah, that was that was actually kind of fun. Like, yeah, it was. It was. I agree. I mean, I had fun with it. I don't mind.
Like,
I'm a man enough to play with a panda. That sounds really
of
weird.
course, it's fun. You just don't like change.
Yeah, but that's it. That's it. People do not like change, and especially if that change kind of forces or takes away his stuff from them that they think they thought was important. I cannot, for the love of me, understand why people are still kind of wanting to see loot boxes return. When I've been doing this content creation thing for a long time, and I remembered how people were kind of pooping all over loot boxes. Like people hated loot boxes with such a passion. The whole vibe in the community was fun. Just stop with these loot boxes. We need something else. And the moment they started the battle pass, everybody was, I love the loot boxes. Man, bring back the loot boxes. Like, no, it's not because battle pass isn't what you want. No, you need to bring back something just as bad from back in the day. We need a better solution. That's what we need to move forward, not backwards. All right. Yeah. Anyways, I'm ranting again. Now, one more thing I wanted to add that I hinted at the start. There's also been rumors, and we know that for a fact that there have been. I mean, there have been indications on LinkedIn and whatnot that at some point they were talking about an animated series for Overwatch, or at least a series for Overwatch. Could be that they talk about that. I do think, however, we're going to see an animated short to announce the new tank hero, and they already confirmed that we're going to see their origin story too. So we're going to get 2 animated shorts at least. But what I think has a better chance of happening than, let's say, an animated series is that they finally show off the other things that they have been working on in the Overwatch universe. Because they have been working on other, I presume, games within the Overwatch universe for quite a while now. We know that the way the whole Overwatch IP is kind of structured is that the Overwatch 2 team is the one that we follow the closest and that we have the most attention for, but that there's also other teams under the Overwatch umbrella that are working on other stuff for Overwatch, or at least within that universe and in that IP. And then I'm thinking, for instance, a mobile game like Warcraft Rumble is being made by a separate team, or Diablo Immortal is being made from a separate team from Diablo 4 or Warcraft. That might be happening for Overwatch, and that we might get a glimpse of that. I think that would be something I see happening before we get a series or something.
I mean, as long as it's something that adds to the experience, to the lore, to the understanding of that universe, I am excited about it. But I'm always a bit skeptical about mobile games because sometimes they tend to be a bit generic. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Blizzard is not capable of making great mobile games. It's just that I'm always a bit cautious when it comes to those types of games
Yeah.
because you have your limitations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The one thing I'm worried about there, I mean, look, Warcraft Rumble, I haven't been able to play it because it has loot boxes and those are not prohibited or not allowed here. Those are prohibited, I mean, here in Belgium and in the Netherlands and well, in more and more countries. So we can't play it. Diablo Immortal, from what I've heard, was a really good experience, was a fun game. I played it at BlizzCon 2018, I think I played it and I had fun with it. Well, I hope I'll be able to try Warcraft Rumble while I'm in the States. I'm actually thinking of bringing my Android phone and making an account there in the States, so I'm getting flagged as a silly, not as a silly European, but as someone from there, and that I can try it. But we'll see. And then Hearthstone, of course, has been a huge success for them. And if you look at the some of the people that used to work in Hearthstone have recently kind of started their own company. Recently, I mean, a few years ago, and they made the Marvel Snap game, which also has been doing really good and is kind of unique in the way it approaches it. So I do think, I don't know, we'll see. Like I agree with you. Mobile games tend to be very templatey, kind of. Okay, what is the shortest way to a huge pile of money? Basically, a lot of micropayments, a lot of kind of bullshit. But Blizzard always kind of manages to kind of steer away from that and still make it somewhat interesting. But we'll see. It could be something completely different though. We don't know what it is going to be. And if it's going to be a mobile game with loot boxes, I'm screwed because there's no way I'll be able to play it. Or
just make an account here in Germany. It's fine.
Yeah, so to jump through VPN hoops and whatnot to kind of play a game. At that point, I'll have to because it's going to be Overwatch. In any case, I mean, look, it's going to be an interesting week. Let's say the next 7 days. By the time you listen to this, it's Monday. But next week, around this time, we'll know everything. And I'll be releasing videos about all of it. Frozen and so a few people are going to help me out here. And the people that are staying at home to kind of make sure that everything on Instagram and Twitter is being posted. And I'm going to be focusing on making videos with the help of Jaros and Peter. And make sure that you guys get videos updates as soon as possible. And then you can check Instagram and Twitter too.
I mean, it's next time we see each other for the podcast. We're going to have a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be a lot to talk about. Oh, definitely. And I really hope it's going to be very exciting. Yeah, I hope we really feel kind of like excited for everything that is to come. I wanna leave the States after those 8 days with a feeling like, all right, I can't wait to get home and get started on and playing all that content and seeing what is coming next and preparing for all that. I'm going to be dead tired, but
best case scenario.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be exciting. So make sure to subscribe and follow us everywhere. We will be right on top of everything. Yeah, you can trust me on that. We're going to be on top of it. And like I said, I'll be sharing my personal story and my personal journey, my travel stories on my personal channels, so Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and even TikTok, Damesies or Damesies TV, depending on the platform. So go give me a follow. Frozen, I'm already promoting myself in the Omnic post, but where can people find you?
Instagram and Twitter at Frozen Unicorn, and the first O is a 0.
There we go. That tattoo is happening, I swear. But anyways, guys, that was it for today. I've already asked Frozen for her Twitter handle. You guys know it's over. Guys, the next time we hear each other, there's going to be a lot to talk about, like Frozen said. And I hope you're all just as excited as we are. So if you want to hear that, make sure to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening. Check it out on YouTube. We post this every Monday. You get the video podcast on YouTube on the Omnic Post YouTube channel. If you want to get an early preview, if you want to join us live, check our Patreon, patreon.com/the Omnic Post, where you can support us. And that support comes with some goodies. That support comes with some privileges. That support comes with early access to the podcast and to everything. Well, and to basically allow you to follow it live, so you can watch it live. And yeah, if you're listening on Spotify, make sure to subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, same thing. And Jesus Christ, I've been talking so much that my cough is kind of acting up. It's time to end this. Guys, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you all in 2 weeks, because next week I'm going to be in the States and BlizzCon is going to be happening. But we'll be back in 2 weeks. Till then, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.